Trinidad and Tobago, friends, colleagues, I am here once again. My friends, there's a few issues that I want to raise today, but before I do that, there's a disturbing situation that has developed recently in our country. This is what I have been told by staff who are involved. They said that our blood bank, at this present time, there's no blood in the blood bank. My friends, I don't know how true that is. I've been so informed. I've been asked to call on the authorities to ask if or what is being done, but the staff at the blood bank is complaining that there is no blood at the blood bank of Trinidad and Tobago. I think that is a serious issue in light of what seems to be pending between Venezuela and America, and our country could be involved. So we are calling on the authorities, Dr. Parasaram, the health minister, to come and tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago if in fact there is none, if there is a shortage, and if so, when will the drive start? Yes, my friends, so that I think is a real serious matter, and it is also affecting other health institutions. Now there are other, what I've been informed that there are other, the health institution may have some, but there's the blood bank is, even for emergency purpose, they said that at this very moment there is none, and that is real serious. So that is it for the blood bank. My friends, I am here this evening because I want to ask a few questions. I want to ask the people on the ground, the man on the ground, the ordinary man in Trinidad and Tobago, who would have supported this government that is in office, even those who did not support the government that is in office. But we are now all forced to live with this government, and I know that one of the reasons why a lot of the persons in the man in the street, as we just say, would have supported the government is because when I talk with them, not now, my friends, they say, Preston, when the UNC thief, it has trickled down, they just share it. Now, they want to tell all you? They said when the UNC, you see that person, we know they are thieves, we know that they are thieves, but when you hear the thief, it has trickled down. We just get. So, that, my friends, that section of Trinidad and Tobago, and I am sure I am not the only person in Trinidad and Tobago are aware of that statement. That when the UNC thief, everybody be happy, and it is share. Yeah. So I am asking those persons if anything has been shared or sharing since the UNC came in office, except loss of jobs, persecution, discrimination, even from the budget, we could see that. Besides that, have anything trickled down to you all, the man in the street? Have they shared anything with you who would have voted for them? Because when the thief, it has trickled down. I am asking. Because just a few days ago, what has been discovered is $1 billion US in 5 months gone missing. So I want to know if any of that came down to the man in the street. Because one of the things that they look forward to is box drain and racketeering and that kind of thing. and contracts running and things happening. I am asking because is 7 million TT has gone somewhere. It didn't go to the workers because public servants think they are sent up to now, my friends. We don't know what year we're going to get it, except that we have over 50,000 workers who had their jobs before the UNC came in office and they dismissed them. And that 7 billion TT or 1 million US, my friends, in the first 3 or 4 months they coming into office, it was discovered that 600 million US went missing from our reserve, my friends. And nobody came to the parliament, no one came during the Finance Standing Committee and explained anything to us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, what happened in that 3 or 4 months they came into office and 600 million US disappear. So then now a 400 million was also discovered missing from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. There's $1 billion US. So my question to Trinidad and Tobago, what part of that money was shared with the ordinary man in Trinidad and Tobago, my friends? The ordinary man and woman, or men and women in Trinidad and Tobago, who, even those persons, any of that money was used to bring relief to those persons, those of you who was dismissed, who was fired from your job, a job that you had even during the recession. Through the pandemic, you remain with your job. Could I get up, leave your home, go to work, your family prepare whatever, your children, your daddy going to work or mommy going to work. That is what parents do. They have some stability, some dignity, some pride, my friends. As little as it is, you look forward to getting your salary. You try and fight and make ends meet. There's no big sum of money, my friends, by the fortnight. So I am asking those people who love the UNC, because when the thief, it does trickle down, my friends. It does share. Who they sharing it with? Who the $1 billion US was shared with, my friends? Who? The $1 billion US unaccounted for. Who it was shared with? Tell us. When you look around, my friends, all over Trinidad and Tobago is criminal activities taking place. The stabbing, the shooting, the kidnapping, the invading people's home, beating them. These are the things that was promised after being in 10 years. Yeah? After 10 years in opposition, they drop these plans and they come because they are the crime plan. The crime plan is really to make the schools a jail, but the police by themselves fail. So you need to put the soldiers and then take some prison officers and put them one time. So make the schools a jail, my friends. And this is the type of image or projection that the Prime Minister have going forward in this beautiful city in her mind that she's going to build. In that city, the schools are jails. Yeah. Yeah. These are the kind of ideas. And when they grow too old for the schools, then shoot them in the back. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot them in the back. Yeah. My friends, the very language that they're using is an admission that we are in fact very close to being a failed state, my friends. Their vision, yeah. If that is their vision, my friends, then you now tell me what is different in a failed state. Tell me. That is hopelessness, my friends. It means in their mind, they have tried everything and everything have failed. So we know we will give everybody a gun and start to shoot one another. Yeah. Shoot people. That is our Prime Minister, my friends. Going into this new city, this beautiful, whatever you're calling it. Yeah? Yeah. So I am asking on the brink of Christmas. Yeah? On the brink of Christmas, my friend, 5 months, 6 months have gone where persons would have lost their jobs. They didn't just lose their jobs, and they were dismissed wickedly. Wickedly, my friends. You know why? Because the very billion-dollar US could have been used to maintain and sustain them in that very job that they were fired from. But you see, if we continue to pay them and keep the people in the workplace, and what is there for us, my friends? What is there for us? And you know why they were able to come and meet these monies, my friends? They were able to meet that kind of money, and the same people that they fired was in their job still. During a recession and a pandemic, at that time the country was governed by a man named Dr. Keith Rowley and a man called Colin Burt, finance minister. Mr. Preston, it has certain things you always be repeating. I say, yeah. I say when the lion does always repeat the lie. When the lion to you in the day, in the night, lunchtime, morning time, every time, whole day. Yeah. Yeah. So we have no problems with the lies being repeated. Yeah. But like the truth and the facts, you must only say it once and it disappear. Yeah. Disappear. Disappear, my friends. Our Prime Minister, my friends, unveiled a plan of some vision that she foresee that we're going to build in Trinidad and Tobago with these waterfront and according to she is Singapore and Dubai. Yeah. So she's seeing that. Yeah. My friends, the waterfront development and the transformation of Trinidad and Tobago, it is all and well documented that that is a plan that was drawn up by a man named Patrick Manning. That is how we have the Hyatt and these thing on the port, the government campus with these structures down by on Rising Road there, and Napa, Sapa. These are the vision of a man who had a vision and started to put the vision in action, my friends. And part of that vision is that we must have a safe Trinidad and Tobago to give our citizens and our people a fighting chance in that type of development, my friends. So what he did, he looked around and realized the only how, because of our location, we could have a fair chance to implement the vision that he has for Trinidad and Tobago, we would need proper security away from the drug and the guns, the cocaine, whatever drugs, the human trafficking, the money laundering, because what that brought along with it is crime, criminal activities. So part of the vision, my friend, is the OPVs. Because you cannot have a vision for such a city and you cannot secure the people and even the very city that you're planning to build. So you must then transform the minds of the people to be part of that in readiness. Yeah. Kamla Prasad Bisesa should be charged for plagiarism, my friends. Plagiarism. And you know how you know it's plagiarism? She's so dunce. She's unable to explain what it is she presented in Trinidad and Tobago. You know why? Because it's not hers. It did not come out of her. It was not part of her psyche. Because At no time, Trinidad and Tobago came first. What came first? Persons were thrown out of a party when she was told what you're doing and saying nothing in the interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Say, hey, you see here? She said, go to hell. Party first. So a person with that type of mentality would not be able to come up with such a vision for a country when self and party first, my friend. The very utterances of her mouth has betrayed her. And then the reason, why then did she do and make that presentation at this time? Tell me. So why then, what would make her make such a nice presentation and keep a big conference and the media? What could make her do that? My friends, the very people that she has been attacking in this country for years, as though they are not even citizens of this country, calling them all kind of derogatory names, she and her supporters, it became a way of life. Yeah? It became a way of life. When she came into office, she made a big declaration on one of those Monday night dunce meetings. You know them dunce and us gather? Yeah. Where she said, one of those from the Syrian Lebanese committee, she didn't use those words there, my friend, the community. She did not use those nice terms that using about Syrian Lebanese community. Yeah. She said they came with a plan, yeah, and a proposal, and they don't have loans organized with Republic Bank to develop Invaders Bay. To develop Invaders Bay. So she let them know that hey, we will not be part of that. And they were jumping up, my friends. They were all jumping up because they had a hero. Yes, she's our hero. She's standing up against that group that we view as the enemy, my friends. As our enemy and the enemy of Trinidad and Tobago. That group, the Syrian Lebanese community, my friends. So she cannot now come back and say, listen, you know, Monday night, a few Monday nights ago, I was telling all this about in my mind. So what she do? She grabbed these photos and wherever to present as though it is about that. It is about giving the same people who came to her for the Invaders Bay, my friends, to develop, that she went and talked a sort of stupidness and dunce talk. And have a sort of dunce people jumping up and clapping. She now come crawling and begging to them that she now to present that same person or these same persons to her audience. Yeah. So she couldn't come and say, listen, I changed my mind. You know what? We had to rethink the position. No. So in the lies that she was telling, she's now tied up with deception, thinking that she can fool all the people. She can't. She can't, my friend. And you know why? A child in standard 4, standard 5 will be able to analyze and know that at this very moment and in the near distant future, my friend, no serious investor is coming to Trinidad and Tobago, my friend. None. You don't have to go to no economic school. You don't have to go anywhere to know. Not just the threat of war. The threat of war is a whole, that'll scare people one time. That's the threat of war. But then you have real battleships with real firepower and threatening America, threatening Venezuela, and Trinidad and Tobago would have joined in threatening Venezuela, yeah, and the government of Venezuela, my friends, led by Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Yeah. So I want anybody in Trinidad and Tobago to paint a picture or give 2 reasons why they think or believe that an investor, a person with money, would now choose to come to Trinidad and Tobago, my friends, to invest his money when there is so many countries around the world where there's no war, no impending war. Eh? Tell me why. Who would do that? My friends, this region, there's no stability at this present time in this region. Our local investors or business people have started to close down and run away. Investors coming who like Trinidad more than who? Them. Our investors, our local businesses have begun to close down. And she's so nasty-minded, and wicked, my friends. She's now claiming that whenever you hear a business closing down, it is because of the drug trade and the drugs not coming to maintain the business. That is how nasty from a first budget, my friends. After lying to the people, is the cause. The cause, that Standard & Poor's would have come in 3 months' time. It didn't take long. And downgraded our country. My friends, listen. Even in 1986 with A&R Robinson, we had a recession, you know. Anybody ever hear anything about any bank getting downgraded? For less 2 of our main banks get downgraded? Why nobody not coming and tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago what is the real effect and what that really means? And how investors would view that? How investors would view our Prime Minister, who seemed to be unstable, my friends, who seemed to be mentally ill, my friends. 1 minute, she says she's standing alone. Now, like she's saying, well, she's going back with CARICOM. Because 1 minute she said, CARICOM, don't come here and beg for nothing. Then she went and begged CARICOM for gas and oil. She's unstable, my friends. Our Prime Minister not long ago said that she's going outside of CARICOM. Yeah. If you cannot get along with CARICOM, people who don't know you, you'll get along with them? Them go trust you? She's a dunce woman, my friends. She's dunce. Yeah. And not just dunce. She's also mentally ill. She's delusional, my friends. Delusional on a grand scale. Not an ordinary scale. A grand scale. Our Prime Minister is delusional on a grand scale, my friends. If our Prime Minister had come to us and said, we have put things in place, you see those, the less unfortunate, we need to treat with them, make sure that they're alright, and then we will build from that. You cannot, my friends, if your foundation is not good, what you going to build? You have is quicksand. Quicksand. Yeah. The very people that you're claiming that you want to build these things for, they can't get food to eat, my friends. They have no money to buy anything. They have to pay the bills, they have no money, they have no food, and they have to see about the children. Yeah. One of the discussions, I say one, I've put it more than once. While in a group, in one of these little shops, for other people buying things because panic buying, person come and pick up 2 things. They say, you don't buy anything? So well, I have no money to buy anything, you know. I have no money to buy anything. And I listen to that, my friends. Because if the war or bombing had started, she was just one of the thousands of workers or people in this country who have nothing to eat, even during that time, my friend. And on another occasion, you know what I heard? A lady said she is waiting for when the looting starts. Now if the man on the ground who never went to no school, no university, understand that the essentials of the basic needs, that you're just waiting for the chaos to start, my friend. Is it that the businesses and the businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago doesn't understand that? We saw what happened in 1990, you know. And that was no war. That was not a war, my friends. That was not a war. A handful of young people have the gun and them can't even shoot from here to there. And that's what happened. Buildings were burned. The cities were looted. Yeah? So, if a war starts, what is going to happen to our country? Yeah, because the Prime Minister and some of our supporters want a war to start, you know. Because that can be used as a cover for her failure, my friends. For the lies that she would have told. She would have gotten something to hide behind. Yeah. As I said, she's delusional in a grand way, on a grand scale, my friends. She would have replaced the President of America, that big position. That's how grand it is, my friend. She replaced Donald Trump, President Trump, as the one who was blowing these boats and them out of the sea, who fighting fire with fire, and fighting the drug cartel and the drug trafficking. President Donald Trump, my friend. When he did that, Kamala declared that she was doing it. We, Trinidad and Tobago, my friends. So in her mind, it was she carrying on this big exercise that the world was witnessing, my friends. And if you feel it was a joke thing, she left Trinidad and Tobago well prepared to go to the United Nations, my friend, to represent us on the world big stage. And she saw herself as a really important and big player. And we are fighting fire with fire. We have declared war on the drug trade and the drug traffickers. And that is our speech. Who is the we, my friends? Who is the we? On the grandest stage, my friends. You can't get a better stage than that. And have about 5 people in the audience clapping. So that dunce all about the place. Clapping. Yeah. Clapping. And she was so confident that she even called for bases to be set up here, because Trinidad and Tobago is in a real fight. And now Venezuela is our enemy, my friends. Because of the grand delusion that she's walking about with, my friends. And it didn't stop there. It is why the picture that she brought out with this revitalization of Trinidad and Tobago with Carrera Island, and it's grand, my friend. Delusional, my friends. Yeah. When Patrick Manning got these grand ideas, it was based in reality, you know. The foundation of it can be traced back to reality. At that time, we were experiencing one of our a serious oil boom, my friend, gas. Besides oil at a nice price, we had a gas boom. That at that time, America was in trouble. That we could have sent monies to friends and family in America, my friends, at that time. So what Patrick Manning saw at the time, Prime Minister Patrick Manning, he said, I can convert this money, I can use this money to benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago by reshaping, redeveloping, and securing our borders, my friends. Vision based in reality. He had at least the resources to start, and he also was planning to put things in place so that the vision could continue. It is why he could have add to the GDP that would continue the plan that he had in his mind, my friends. Kamla Persad Bissessa cannot even pay the workers, keep the lowest people, the people who are being paid the lowest in this country. She could not even keep them in the job that they had, my friends. But you bring in skyscrapers and fancy building to show them. A man, my friends, that gas deal that we lose out on, while Dr. Rowley understanding that in order for us to even be stabilized because of what our economy would have gone through, how important that was, the gas, because you have to go and travel nowhere, you have to pay no big ship to bring nothing, and you have to pay at a reduced price and reduced cost. She damaged that. She damaged not just a relationship, because it could have started with the Dragon gas field, and with good negotiations, we could have had access to other gas fields in Venezuela, my friends, because of how we would have treated and dealt with them. It's the world's largest, my friends, is the Arab world. You see what the Arab world is? Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. We have that right there, we could walk across. And Kamla Persad Bissessa blow up the bridge. The bridge, my friends. And then going about persecuting the very owners of the gas field in Venezuela, my friends. Every one of those Venezuelans in Trinidad, including their children, are the owners. They are the owners of the gas and the gas fields and the oil that Kamla Persad Bissessa went Venezuela to get for free billions of dollars. Yeah. And when they tell her no, she's now turning around and starting to persecute the owners that is in Trinidad here. The children and the Venezuelans who own the Dragon gas field and all the gas in Venezuela, they are the owners, my friends. She has decided, that is common sense. That is sense, boy. That is sense. Yeah. Tell it, it's not a joke, dunce people we're dealing with here, you know, my friends. Listen, the Venezuelans now, you can imagine that, them home, and they are seeing their brothers and sisters in Trinidad who would have left because of the economic hardship. Yeah. Who they were about to give all these billions of dollars in gas. Yeah. That could have also helped, to build the few Venezuelans in Trinidad and treat them, because it's their gas and it's their money and it's their oil. She turned around and started to treat them, my friends. Look at the flag here. wicked. Yeah. Look at there. I just want the Venezuelan people to know that the devil people that it have in charge in our country, that is what they are, devil people. And that is not a true representative or representation of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have no, the Venezuelans are not our enemy. We are not war with them, except the dunce people that is the leadership in our country. They are the ones. They are racist, and they are wicked, and they are nasty-minded. That is what they are. Trinidad and Tobago, the Venezuelan population home right now could be about 30 million people, including those who would have left. Venezuela is mainly a Christian country. 96% of the population in Venezuela, my friends, are Christians. Catholics, full gospel, Pentecostal, Church of God, Church of Christ, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Christians. Different denominations. So at this time, I would like to ask President Donald Trump kindly take into consideration that the country that is known as Venezuela, their population at this present time about 30 million, and 96%, my friends, are Christians. Christians. I know somewhere in his heart he has some kind of soft spot for Christians, because at this present time he is disturbed because Christians, according to him, are being persecuted in Nigeria, and he intends to bring a stop to that because Christians are being killed. Christians are being killed, and that have him disturbed. The country, Venezuela, 96%, my friends, is Christians. About 11 point something percent is Catholics. Yeah. But all Christians. So, my friends, I am here this evening to once again ask the man on the street, the man on the ground, as they say, has anything come down to you? Have anything reached you? My friend, nothing have reached the ground. Everything have been taken away, and whatever gone missing, listen, $1 billion US gone missing, and I said that that is worse. It is worse than live sport. You know why? Live sport is a few $100,000 short of half a billion dollars. $500 million. $500 million in we money. But it was shared. It was shared. It's not a sharing, you know. People was getting at the bottom. So that is what they know or they expected to happen. You know, like color me orange. Yeah. Thing was sharing. You come here, I will make you a contractor. You do? Yeah, right, come. Everybody was a contractor, my friends. Yeah. Yeah. So you thing sharing. And the same contract caused a lot of people to die, my friends, because they were what they were doing, they were supporting gangsterism. So there's a group of people, and it's not by accident. As soon as they came in office, my friends, without even giving out a contract, they then declared that there were people looking to kill the ministers and I'm ready. Because of what was promised during the elections, my friend. That up to today, persons are continue to be arrested and held all about the place, and no charges have been brought or apparently can be brought against anybody. So just grabbing people, abusing the people, because that's abuse. Yeah? How nobody can get charged for trying to kill no minister? Where's the evidence to support the claim that it was making that caused this SOE to be going on at this time, preventing the people from coming out and the voice being heard, my friends, in Trinidad and Tobago? Yeah. And that is democracy? That is not democracy. That is not democracy. I see in Venezuela the people protesting, you know. Whether they're for or against the protesting, they still have a voice in Venezuela. What we have here, my friends, on today's newspapers, I think, yeah, I saw where JTAM with other sect of our society is calling for this region to remain a zone of peace. JTAM is the representative body, and I think that the OWT is part of JTAM, and I think Ansel Roger may be part of the leadership of JTAM. My friends, look how long Kamla Prasad Bisesa have been advocating for war, turning her back on CARICOM, siding with whatever America do. No matter what America do, they're right. Yeah. She even said to kill them violently. Kill them. Forget about court and arresting. No, kill them. Yeah. Kill them, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Where was JTAM and Ansel Roger and them, my friends? As soon, yeah, now the budget has been ready, because part of the election promise is that Petrotrin, we will reopen Petrotrin, you know. We will reopen Petrotrin, because this Dr. Rowley led PNM, he said that anti-workers, anti-union, said that wicked people, you know. But we will open back Petrotrin, my friends. That's that stupid talk they're talking about. It wasn't profitable and all kind of thing. Don't listen to that. My friends, 2 budgets have been read, and nowhere in those budgets, just as the public servants 10%, is there any mention of the funding and the starting up and the reopening of Petrotrin. Is we going to open it? The previous government diversify, and they also had opening, allowing persons, private entity, the field, they could come and we start up the refinery and wherever, so that nothing wrong with that privately, and wherever we get some cut, some taxes or whatever. They said no. They even chase an Indian businessman like he had real money. It had no one thing, eh? He came here just like how Sandals came to Tobago, yeah, and Watson, Duke and Fally Augustine declare war on Sandals, yeah. So they exchanged Sandals for a quarry license when they could have a boat. you could imagine that? When they could have, if the license good, they could have both, my friends, both Sandals and the license. You could imagine that? Sandals, like, they're going to open our next Sandals somewhere in St. Lucia or St. Vincent again. Yeah. And we miss out. They did that with the Indian businessman who came here. They say he was a crook. Yeah. Allegations. But in our parliament, we have a speaker who make jail for fraud. Was found guilty, my friends. The speaker of the house was found guilty for fraud. The man who was coming with the big set of money here, no charges were brought against him, nowhere, you know. Yeah. The very people, the deputy political leader, one of them, charged again for fraud, my friends. Yeah. The speaker, according to newspaper report, after making about 4 years in jail. Yeah. Yeah. They appeal to the Privy Council, boy, they say they too much jail, boy. This man, this is a good man. This man is only one wrong thing he ever do. The Privy Council say, all right, that 4 years is enough. Well, let go the man. Yeah. And they bring him in the parliament, my friends. Yeah. Because it had nobody else. A man called Rudy Indar Singh, yeah, Minister of Works in the UNC in 2010 to 2015 government, Kamla Prasad Visesa, my friend. While being the Minister of Works, yeah, a URP worker, a female, she family had some problem with a manager in the environment, complained to him. He took her out from the environment, have her working out of his office somewhere in Cuba. The lady attended a prayer session for a PNM candidate in one of the elections coming up, them local elections, and Rudy Indar Singh hear about it. The Sunday, the lady attended the session, the prayer thing, meeting, gathering. The Sunday night, 10 o'clock in the night, a phone call she got from Rudy Indar Singh on a Sunday night and dismiss her from her job, yeah, because she attended a prayer session and the person belonged to the PNM party, my friends, and a member of the PNM party. And she was fired. Yeah. Under Kamla Prasad Visesa, Rudy Indar Singh, with that kind of bias, prejudice, nasty-mindedness, my friends, and wicked and evil mind, is now a judge at the industrial court. Yeah, Rudy Indar Singh is now a judge, judging on workers who would have had problems with the employer, my friends, when he, yeah, was not even he wasn't even the one directly employing the lady, but fire her, an abuse of authority. Yeah. The judgment said her constitutional right, one of the things that said her constitutional right to freedom of association was breached. Yeah. Oppressive and wicked, my friends. And that same Rudy Indar Singh, under Kamla Prasad Visesa as the Prime Minister, was elevated to a position as a judge at the workers' court, my friend, the industrial court. A judge. That's the prize. That is the prize for the hatred. So long as you could show that hatred for black people, you will be, yes, you will be elevated, my friends. Yeah. It is the same kind of language and behavior that came from Watson Duke. Yeah. What he's going to do with those people who he view, they are not Tobagonian. They are no. The public purse, the money for the THA is not for them, because they are PNM. Is any difference there, my friends? Any difference? Yeah. Any difference? Yeah. With Kamla Prasad Visesa and the Minister of Finance in the budget, where they remove over $15 million, yeah, from one of the corporations where the majority of persons working and operating there and in the community is of African descent and is viewed as PNM. My friends, these are the issues Yeah. On leaving office in 2015, my friends, the day before, the last working day before the elections is Monday, Friday, the last working day, they get a paper like this, a contract, and they remove a clause, my friends, from a contract, so that their friends could leave this country with $70 million, $30 million short of a billion TT, my friends. $30 million short. The money did not belong to who leave the country with it. How we know that? If the government did not change, the people of Trinidad and Tobago will not have known that $1 billion that belonged to us, that was supposed to finish the highway, was taken out of this country, my friends. Yeah. These are the kind of people. But you see, die nothing. It has trickled down, my friends. So it's not about the country, it's what is about me. Yeah. You know, what you get? Yeah. That's the day. What you get? Yeah. So it's not about you who looking for your own job and your work. It's what you get. Yeah. You gotta get something. Yeah, my friends. Yeah, because there are people in this country does not believe that people could do good things or do things and not expect anything from anybody. Yeah. So from the time you're doing something, and if they were in a position doing that what you're doing, somebody will get them money for it. So they want to know how you can get. Yeah. Something wrong with you. Yeah. So I'm asking them, so far, of the billion US, my friend, and it's more than the billion, because in the budget, my friends, a slush fund has been set aside. You know what? A fund of $700 yeah, 310 and 475, right? $785,000 have been set aside in the budget, allocated to nobody, my friends. Ghosts. Listen, that is in the budget, you know. Nobody employed. Nobody. In fact, it is there for, according to them, for programs to employ people. So the people are not even employed. No programs can be identified, but $485 million have been allocated for that, under that heading. Where is that money? Because nobody has been employed. In fact, people have been sent home. Yeah. So that is $1 billion or over $7 billion to start with, and you're adding this $485 million to it. Yeah. It ain't done there, my friends. When they came in office in June, they went to the parliament and they get millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to run and to pay workers, to run the country, to run their ministry and programs until October. That is what they came to the parliament and tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Why we are here, Mr. Speaker? We are here, and they have papers like this with figures showing the amount, they break it down, to pay workers, to maintain the programs, to pay suppliers, to do this, to do that. As soon as the vote was finished and taken, they get the money in their possession, my friends, the right to get the money. There was no need for the people who they were pretending they were representing in the parliament. All the CPEP, URP, Civilian Conservation Corps, the reforestation, to name a few. And then all the contract workers and all government ministry and agency have been sent home. So add to the billion US or the over 7 billion TT, then the 485 million, and then the hundreds of millions that they went to the parliament for in June that the people of Trinidad and Tobago never came close to because they fired them. Where all that money go on in one time in just 5 months, my friend? Yeah. Who have it? They didn't share it with remember, it just trickle down. It didn't trickle down. My friends, it didn't trickle down. Because I see people busy shopping all over the place. I feel it trickle down and nobody in telling me, you know. Yeah. Yeah. My friends, when you walk on Charlotte Street on a Friday, when 3 days they just come and shop, the vendors or wherever. Yeah. People are all the goods, the traffic, the amount of people moving around. Next to nothing, my friends, because the people have nothing. They have no money to buy anything. And then now, when your business closed down, because of their bad policy and dunceness, they then saying that it closed down because of the drugs, the drug trade shutting down. So you know what? Look, you see that business closing there? But that's how you identify now who involved in the drug trade. Kamla Posad Bisesa. Yeah. Any nastiness coming ahead, my friends, she said, so long as the forum would take the information elsewhere to tarnish people and to hide, to take the attention away from her failure, my friends. From her failure and her dunceness. Yeah. So Trinidad and Tobago, as I said, our Prime Minister is delusional in a grand way. You could check it and see why Preston speaking like that. Yeah. In a grand way. Not no little thing. It's not no ordinary thing. Yeah. And I would have recommended one of the top psychiatrists in this country, like as a team I have to put together or recommend, because I don't believe that one psychiatrist will be able to do the job. So maybe the next time I would share something, not that I don't have them, you know. Yeah. There's some good psychiatrists, my friends. There's a man called Professor Hutchinson. Yeah. You could contact him and ask him and let him come and visit. Yeah. Because our Prime Minister is not well. And if in 5 months, this is the kind of disaster we're ending up in. Yeah. It's Dr. Shafi, the medical chief of staff in St. Anne's Hospital, my friends. I am sure he will gladly assist in whatever way he can. Yeah. Our Prime Minister, my friends, is mentally ill. Yeah. Delusional in a grand way. My friends, have a blessed day. Thanks for allowing me to engage you at this time of your evening. And until we meet again, God bless and be safe. Thank you. Who would have had problems with the employer, my friends, when he was not even the one directly employing the lady, but fire her and abuse of authority. Yeah. The judgment said her constitutional right, one of the things that said her constitutional right to freedom of association was breached. Yeah. Oppressive and wicked, my friends. And that same Rudy and our Singh, under Kamla Posad Bisesa as the Prime Minister, was elevated to a position as a judge at the workers' court, my friends, the industrial court. A judge. That's the prize. That is the prize for the hatred. So long as you could show that hatred for black people, you will be, yes, you will be elevated, my friends. Yeah. It is the same kind of language and behavior that came from Watson Duke. Yeah. What he's going to do with those people who he view. Yeah, they are not Tobagonian. They are no. The public purse, the money for the THA is not for them because they are PNM. Is any difference there, my friends? Any difference? Yeah. Any difference? Yeah. With Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the Minister of Finance in the budget, where they remove over $15 million, yeah, from one of the corporations where the majority of persons working and operating there and in the community is of African descent and is viewed as PNM. My friends, these are the issues. Yeah. On leaving office in 2015, my friends, the day before, the last working day before the elections is Monday, Friday, the last working day, they get a paper like this, a contract, and they remove a clause, my friends, from a contract so that their friends could leave this country with $70 million, $30 million short of a billion TT, my friends. $30 million short. The money did not belong to them who leave the country with it. How we know that? If the government did not change, the people of Trinidad and Tobago will not have known that $1 billion that belonged to us, that was supposed to finish the highway, was taken out of this country, my friends. Yeah. These are the kind of people. But you see, die nothing. It has trickled down, my friends. So it's not about the country, it's what is about me. Yeah. You know, what you get? Yeah. That's the day. What you get? Yeah. So it's not about you who looking for your own job and your work. It's what you get. Yeah. You gotta get something. Yeah, my friend. Yeah, because there are people in this country does not believe that people could do good things or do things and not expect anything from anybody. Yeah. So from the time you're doing something, and if they were in a position doing that, what you're doing, somebody get them money for it. So they want to know how you and get. Yeah. Something wrong with you. Yeah. So I'm asking them, yeah, so far, of the billion US, my friend, and it's more than the billion, because in the budget, my friends, a slush fund has been set aside. You know what? A fund of $700
talking about? War! Boy, we don't know nothing about war. Tell them we don't want no war. All we want is peace. In the region, peace. In the world, peace. In the zone, yes, tell them this is a zone of peace. This is the West Indies. We don't know about war. All we want is peace. Tell them this is a zone of peace. Everybody, na na na. We don't want no war. We don't want no war. We don't want no war. War. What the hell you talking about? War. Boy, we don't know nothing about war. Tell them we don't want no war. Peace. Peace. Wars where people just talk about war and young people just die. We don't want no war. We don't know nothing about war.